love is never a burden. However, it leaves you vulnerable, leaves you exposed to the good, bad, and the ugly. And what I mean by that is when you actually love somebody, whether it's a friend, a significant other, a child, or any relative, anybody for that matter, when you love somebody, you make yourself into a state of being vulnerable, because in order for you to love somebody, you let your guard down. You communicate differently. And for those that may not agree with this, just think about it. When you talk to somebody, do you talk to them differently when you openly love them? Or do you talk to them, the same way that you talk to anybody else? Well, the answer is pretty self-explanatory. When we're in love with somebody, again, no matter who it is, if it's a child, significant other, friend, family, whatever the case may be, we talk differently to them. We're more cautious about what we say, which is not a bad thing. We're more cognizant of their feelings, and hopefully that comes back to us. So when I say, love, it's literally, good, bad, and ugly when it becomes to vulnerability, is because when you are vulnerable and you drop your guard and you're compassionate and caring to those that you love, you hope you get it back. But that's not always the case. We don't always get back what we dish to others. So you can love somebody, be vulnerable with them, and it not be a burden. Depends how you look at it. If you think to yourself that you should always get back what you give, you're going to be miserable. I'll tell you that right now. In a bubble world, maybe we have equality between one another when we love each other, right? And the case of that not being the case is, look at the divorce rate that's going on in the world today in North America. You may love somebody, they may love you, but you don't necessarily treat each other the best. And that's when love becomes the ugly. And especially during the pandemic, there's been so many people that are in the process of separation, divorce, some that haven't even gone through the process but are thinking about it. And I see that within my own clientele, and specifically friends, family, the list goes on. I know quite a few people that have split in the last 12 months. And, again, love is not a burden. It is a reality of getting close to somebody. And I wish it was a case that we'd always get it back, what we give, but don't have that expectation. Just love somebody unconditionally, be kind to them, and, hopefully the ugly doesn't happen. If they can't give back to you what you need, and you are giving 100% of yourself, and it's become an energy sucker or an energy vampire situation, then maybe it's time to look at, protecting yourself and walking away. Am I a proponent of people working on relationships? Absolutely. But it is a two-way street. It can't be a one-way street. Love isn't enough, but it is a basis and a start. And then being vulnerable to one another and not using that vulnerability against one another is something that people need to practice and need to work on, because that's the ugly part of being in love, is when somebody throws things in your face, or they're not understanding of the circumstances that you're going through because they're so wrapped up in their own circumstances. And you as a couple, or again, you and a friend, you and a child, you just can't see eye to eye anymore. There's no common ground, there's no commonality. And then, the bad and the ugly part of being in love comes out. And when things don't work out, that love is what causes all your hurt and all your angst and all your anguish. So, all I'm saying is, if you're in love with somebody and they're in love with you, there has to be a yin and a yang. There has to be understanding. There has to be compromise. Is it going to happen every single time? No, that is unrealistic. It will not happen every single time in any relationship, but it should happen more times than not. And how you fight or how you get over it is also important as well. Won't get into that today, but there's different strategies and techniques when you get into arguments or fights that people need to practice. Things that I've learned over the years, things I wish I would have known in my 20s when I was newly married. Been divorced for a long time, and certainly there's things that I could have done better, just like my ex could have as well. But regardless of that, just realize love is not a burden. Love is not a bad thing. It's just a matter of finding the right person where you can love them, they love you, and you learn to compromise, and you have more good than bad and ugly throughout your relationship. And I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Drop me a comment below, DM me, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. God bless you all. Peace out. Have a great night. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.